When I could throw away that mindset and just start making music freely, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like when a baby bird learns to fly or something. I don't know. Hello. So this is going to be a bit of a talky video. My guitar will be playing a non-speaking role. It's a cameo today for my guitar. But I wanted to talk about, copying other musicians and drawing influence, because I kind of had issues with this when I was creating music, and maybe some people are in a similar situation, or they're in that situation, they're not really aware of it. But I'm going to use my own story as context to make this a little bit more easy to convey, because keeping it abstract will be a little bit confusing, whereas having a concrete example I think is more understandable. But when I started really getting into writing songs, at the same time, I was really heavily listening to Elliott Smith. Now, the thing is I kind of got in this mindset where I needed to make music like him. I think that's perfectly natural, because as humans, when we see something we like, we want to do it too, But what I think is kind of the problem is that that's what really started to drive me. It's like my goal shifted from just freely creating music to I have to create music like Elliott Smith. So basically, I took inspiration and I turned it into a ball and chain instead of just letting it be like drive for my creativity. And a point to kind of go with that is that there's only one Elliott Smith. And, it's just like he is the only Elliott Smith that ever existed. He's the only one that thought about music and arranged things like he would. Yeah, you could kind of get close, but to me it feels like, if I made a song or someone, I hear other musicians, some are even signed to labels that just sound so much like they're reproducing his tonality. And it's just like, no, this is like the store brand version of my favorite candy. This isn't the same. And if people like it and they're having fun, props to them. But for me, it just started to feel unfulfilling, when I started to kind of verge away and be like, okay, until now, I was finding chord progressions and saying, this is a really nice chord progression, but it's just not Elliott Smith enough. When I could throw away that mindset and just start making music freely, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like when a baby bird learns to fly or something. I don't know. But yeah, so if you're going to be like a tribute band, or your goal is to really reproduce an individual sound, go for it, because that's an art on its own. But me and my personal journey in music has kind of led me to realize that it kind of leaves a lot to be desired when you try too hard to be like a certain musician, So I know this isn't really directly applicable, and it's like really kind of high level philosophical mental well-being sort of stuff, but it's just something to consider, because music is supposed to be something that brings you joy, and if you're constantly comparing yourself to whoever it is that you love and you're trying to replicate, then you might find that something that you love is starting to kind of drain you more than it's giving you fulfillment. I think that's really all I have to say for this one. I want to keep this short just because it's such a kind of high level video, but if you like this, do me a solid, leave a like, and please engage in the comments. I'd love to have discussions with other people, either who are just listeners of music or who are creating music of their own, just to hear what people think. I think it's interesting because as music makers, people don't really talk too much about this stuff. Even the people that make it big in music, when they get interviews, it's always just really surface level stuff that doesn't really get anywhere interesting. I don't know about anyone else, but so many times I've watched interviews of my favorite musicians and just been like left like, I wanted so much more and this was a letdown. But anyway, that's a bit of a digression, but yeah, engage in the comments, subscribe if you want to see more, and give feedback as always. So thank you for listening and have a nice day. It's snowing here and the sun's coming out, so I'm pretty happy. And I've got tea, so bye-bye. Okay, I guess I'll play some chords. There we go. A chord. Bye-bye.